tier list. Today we're doing another TFT set 6. This was definitely one of my favorites. I really enjoyed this one. So let me know down in the comments where you guys would place all of your favorite champs, where you guys think I should have placed mine. Don't forget, like, subscribe, check out all my other TFT content, whether it's tier lists or set videos. And let us get started. Excuse me. Oh, let's see. Where do we start? I don't even know. Okay, I'm going to put Zyra, honestly, in A. Now, the inconsistency is massive. Honestly, if she wasn't so inconsistent with her ability, she would be S tier for me. Because when she would hit her ability, especially on teams that, have multiple people in like the backline or something, and she was 3-starred and you had items on her, which she wasn't too hard to 3-star at all, she would destroy teams for sure. But the inconsistency is pretty massive with her. A lot of people would move out of her ultimate, and she would obviously do who had the most people in a line, which was great, and stun them, but even so, sometimes it wasn't always the best line, in my opinion. But she definitely destroyed some games for me, and definitely lost some rounds for me as well. But I think she deserves an A tier, and the Syndicate trait was decent, not the best. I say that, and I'm going to throw Twisted Fate down here at C. I think as a 1-cost Syndicate, I forget the other ability, but not too great. He was just kind of a splash champ to get the Syndicate going here with Darius and these three. I think Darius deserves an A. I think he was definitely one of the better 1-cost carries in this set. Being able to swing around massively, do some pretty good damage, not too hard to 3-star, and heal himself, could definitely sustain and do very, very well. So I enjoyed him. Syndicates were one of my top played. I would say maybe like third. I would definitely play like Mutants and stuff like that before them. Definitely Chemtech as well. But let's keep on going. Lulu is always going to be mid for me. No matter, she's in every set, I swear, but no matter what, I have just never been a huge fan of Lulu. She's always decent, for sure, but just kind of one of those champs that's always in each set, but never really doing too much. Alawi, honestly, I gotta put in D. I think arguably she was the worst champ in this set. Her traits outside of Brawler were bad. I forget the other one. It was like, I don't know, Fortune or whatever it was in this set. I don't remember what it was. Or Underground, which is what is in set 8.5 currently. But she was never that great. It was almost just, splash her in for brawlers at the beginning, and then you're going to drop her for better brawlers or just drop her altogether. But her ability also not too good either. Definitely does not. If anything, she's in C, but not higher than that. Vex I gotta put in A. I think Vex was a very strong tank champ. Could definitely hold with Arcanists for a while. That was the old Twisted Fate one. But outside of that, I know that she got nerfed pretty hard, and that definitely kind of kept her down for a while. But she was still very solid tank overall. Definitely worth a 3-cost, and again, not too impossible to 3-star, but obviously a lot harder than, any cost that's lower than her. Scion, I'm going to put in B. I almost want to put him in A, but the Colossus trait definitely hurt sometimes, and the only Colossus I ever really trusted was Cho'Gath, who I'm going to put in S, and then we'll talk about him in a second. But Scion, again, much like Zyra, sorry, playing Overwatch here, was just way too inconsistent. He was definitely a solid tank, and he definitely could do a whole lot of damage, and definitely, again, not too hard to 2-star. Probably not going to get him 3 because he was a 4 cost, but he could definitely do some massive damage. The problem was just him being Colossus. His traits weren't that great, and the inconsistency with his ult. Like, if you did not have an item on him, like Jeweled Gauntlet, then he just was essentially some budget tank that honestly wasn't even that great. Cho'Gath, I have to put an S. This man was easily worth the Colossus dump. Mutant Brawler was a fantastic thing to run in this set. It was super very strong. And especially if you could get Cho'Gath early, he got stacks every time he got kills. So if they dropped him for you, early against the minions onto your bench to use, absolutely I'm using that man, even if he's just kind of a trait bot, but he's only going to get better and better. I've had massive 3-star Cho'Gaths that were virtually unkillable. And while he sits back there, or sits up there, and tanks everything and murders everybody, Malzahar over here was just ripping people apart, being able to essentially infect so many people, especially with blue buff, do high amount of magic damage, even throw on like a Hextech Gunblade and heal people. Him doing the Mutant Arcanist definitely was splashable often, and definitely worth the pickup and the item holding for a strong 3-cost carry for sure. Kassadin, I'll give to B. I think he was a pretty good 1-cost worth. I forget his other trait. I know it was mutant and then something. I'm having a hard time remembering because this was a few sets ago. But anyway, he was a pretty solid 1-cost. Nothing too bad to say about him. He could definitely tank and do pretty well. No matter what you were really running. Ziggs, I'm gonna put in. I gotta put in D also. Honestly, the inconsistency with him and his bomb was way more inconsistent than Zyra. Zyra definitely did way more than him. But being Yordle Arcanist, he was just so inconsistent, man. There were so many times he'd throw up his bomb and they were 3 hexes away from where he threw it because it would take so long for him to throw it and it to land. And it didn't even, I don't remember it doing an area effect either, so it was just kind of pointless. If you didn't hit that one person, then you weren't doing anything, which sucked. But yeah, he was probably the worst Yordle to me. Throughout the whole set, and the inconsistency was pretty massive. Urgot, I gotta put Urgot in S. He was a pretty strong carry throughout the entire set. No matter what you were running, he was definitely really worth it. And honestly, Mundo was as well, being a 3-trait 4-cost. Definitely splashable at any time. Healing himself as a tank was massive. Easy brawler, Chemtech mutant situation going on with him. He was always in that section, and definitely worth the pickup in the start. Jhin, I honestly don't remember Jhin being too insane this set. I think I'm going to put a Jhin in B. I don't really think he was too much higher than that. Maybe an A. Definitely not in C, but I don't remember him being such a high tier carry in this set too much. Vi I'll give to B. She's always just... Vi is like the most mid-tier champ always. She's always good, always splashable, but she's never really that champion, that you really carry with. Honestly, in a way, I take that back. This was definitely the set where she could be a carry, but still, it was not, wasn't as good. Misfortune, I gotta put in B. She just wasn't that great this set. Um, yeah, just overall not as good as she is in this current set of 8.5, that's for sure. But she was okay. Nothing really good or bad to say about her, just very mid. Shaco, I'm gonna put an A. The only reason why he's not higher for me, because he definitely probably deserves an S tier in some cases, was honestly, again, the consistency. I think a lot of people would run him, so he was hard to use. While he was definitely good, I think that it was hard for him to succeed in the Syndicate team and role. And also just kind of, I don't know, he never really carried for me. I tried for sure, and he was definitely worth the assassin and definitely a need in the Syndicate team for damage for sure, but never really got to S tier for me specifically. I do think that people definitely could argue that he could be there, but not so much. Let's see. Twitch, I'm going to give to B. I think he could definitely, you could do Twitch reroll and have him carry. I think the consistency just wasn't fully there. And he honestly never really did too much damage. It was just that, you know, Assassin's Chemtech, and if you had him 3-starred with items, he could definitely do well, but I would argue that that's anybody in any TFT set. Singed. Singed I'll give to B as well. I almost thought kind of C, but he definitely deserves a B. I think his ability definitely helped hurt and or kill the backline. And he wasn't too hard to 3-star either, so he was worth it, but as a 1 cost, that's about as far as it goes. He definitely doesn't deserve to be higher than a B. More like very mid B, maybe B minus, C plus area. Graves to me doesn't deserve anything higher than a C. He was one of the worst champs to me in this set for sure. Never really enjoyed him very much. And honestly, same with Garen. I think that they were just a good 1 costs for starting up Academy early, but they were not that great. Now Leona, I'm gonna give to A. I think she was arguably the best Academy. If not, it was definitely Cat, and if not, then it was definitely I forget which Yone this was, but minimum they all deserve A tier. I think this Academy carry team right here is what you were always looking for and who you were looking to carry for the Academies, because they would do some massive shit. And Lux, and this one I think deserves S. She was definitely a problem for a very long time. So she definitely deserves it with her ultimate and late game Academy carry for sure. Leona, arguably one of the best tanks in the game in this set. Katarina, huge amount of damage, fantastic ult, and Yone seems like no matter what set he's in, he's always good. Let's see. Ezreal, I don't remember doing or being anything too great. I honestly don't know what to say about him outside of that. I think Caitlyn, I'll give her B. She was super fun to use, especially in the beginning. As soon as you ulted, you knew you were pretty much going to get a kill, which was always super fun. I just think as a 1 cost sniper enforcer, she was a splash bot at best, just a trait bot, and outside of that, unfortunately, she really wasn't that great because her traits were not that good. She was pretty good, Her traits, not so much. Blitzcrank, I gotta put an A. I think he, between like him and Thresh always having so much utility, they definitely deserve it. Being able to pull the furthest person away, which is usually their carry, and bring them to get them killed in the middle of the field was always a great ability to have, and he was definitely seemed to be pretty splashable, or if you were going to splash somebody into your team, he was definitely there. Camille was definitely good. Again, I think the one cost thing kind of keeps her down from not being too much higher. I actually don't even really remember her traits in this set, but I don't remember them being insane. Oriana I will give to A. While I did not use her or play her that much, she always seemed to do very, very well. A lot of people used her and played her and made her their carry. That was just not me. That's not who I was looking for. I know she had at least 2 traits, obviously, but I don't remember if she had a third or not. But that's just me. Heimerdinger in this set I will give to S. I think he was easily the best Yordle. I think his ultimate would absolutely shred teams. And from what I remember, he had 3 traits as well, possibly. So he was pretty splashable into a lot of teams. And definitely if you were running Yordles, you were making him the carry. Same with Innovators. He was definitely top tier carry in there as well. Zillion, while his ability was arguably one of the best in this set, it was so fucking annoying. And outside of that, if you weren't running Innovators, you really weren't running Zillion too much. So he definitely deserves it because of his ability. Honestly, his ability itself is pretty much S tier, but as far as his damage and everything outside of that and his traits, I can't. At the best, he's A. Definitely doesn't deserve any lower than a B. But that's where I would put him. Let's see. Echo. Echo, I definitely think deserves an A tier. I just think he was a good all-around. I don't really have anything bad to say about him. I just don't think that he was as carry heavy as everybody made him out to be, but that's just me. He definitely deserves an A, if not an S for sure. Definitely no lower than an A, but his ability was very good. His traits were good. He was just very good. Let's see. Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw I'll give to A. He definitely got nerfed and then taken out of this set, but I do think that he definitely deserved it. Before he got nerfed, he was running rampant, doing a whole lot of damage, and he was definitely a good mutant backline carry for sure with Malzahar too. And as a 2 cost, you were pretty well off trying to get him 3-starred as well. Swain, I'm also going to give to A. I think he was a very strong tank Arcanist for sure, and could definitely hold it down up front, being that his ability would heal him, especially depending on how many people he would hit with it. But very, very solid. Nothing bad to say about him. I just don't think that I don't think he deserves an S tier. Zac, I'll give to A. I think him being, I believe he was Chemtech Mutant and Brawler, all 3 as a 3 cost, so he definitely deserves it. And his ability was good. I just don't think that he ever got that umph as a true carry for this set, but he was definitely one of the best champs in this set. Possibly even S tier. Kaisa was just always an insane champ. Definitely, I would say the best 5 cost in this set, arguably. If you had the right items for her, she was going to destroy the whole team. Jinx, I'll give to A. Her ultimate ability was devastating. I just don't think that her traits were that fantastic, and you almost had to I think either you did or you didn't have to use her with Vi. I don't think you did in this one. But she was still very, very solid, could do massive amount of damage even without being a 2-star. Lysandra, I'm going to give it a B. I think she was a solid Chemtech choice in the beginning. Not really item worthy unless you were really going for her, and she could hold some items, but it's not going to be anything too crazy. Her ability, again, was iffy, but she definitely wasn't bad. Definitely a good champ to use. Tristana in this set, I think was worth an A tier. Right around this area for sure. I don't remember her too much from this set, honestly, but I feel like Tristana's always just in the back line shooting the shit out of everyone. Poppy, always being the one-cost self that she is, I gotta give her a B. She's always trying so hard. And I honestly like her ability, throwing her buckle to whoever's in the back line and then shielding herself. Definitely a frontline Yordle, but always feeling bad for Poppy. She never really gets the love she deserves. Quinn, honestly, Quinn definitely deserves an A. I feel like because of her traits, she wasn't used as much, but man, she could disarm and murder backline teams, or any team really, but it was usually whoever was running some backline champs. She was super underrated in my opinion, and definitely worth minimum splashing in your team, if not really making her the carry. I don't remember Samira's traits this set, like, at all. But minimum she deserved A. I feel like Samira's always super, super good. Jace. Jace I gotta give to A. I can't put him in S. While I think it was awesome that you could either use him as a frontline tank or backline damage dealer, I just don't think that, outside of that, I don't think he was really as good as everyone wanted him to be. That's just me, though. I never really liked him. I never felt like he was worth the 5 cost that he was. Galio, always annoyingly good for sure, pretty much every single set. But I don't really think he was as devastating as he always was. The Colossus was definitely always questionable to put out. Tom Kinch, I think, was super fun, but outside of that, I don't really think he was a 5 cost carry either. Yumi, I would argue, is arguably the worst 5 cost in this set. But that's just me. I think she was good late game for sure, being able to splash her in, but not really worth it. I feel like there were so many other champs that you could consider carrying instead of her. Victor, I'll put an A. I think it was a little hard for him to ramp up and use his ability, but man, if he would use his ability, your team was shredded. But it was really hard for him to cast more than once unless you had a lot of items or the fight went on long enough. Let's see. Seraphine, I'll give to A as well. I think while she was inconsistent, much like Zyra, she was very, very devastating when she would hit multiple people, and definitely a very good splash champion herself as well. You just really had to play her a certain way to make her work. Braum, he's always just some boring frontline tank. He never felt too amazing to me in this set. Definitely just there, solid. If anything, he deserves A tier, but definitely not any lower than a B. Fiora in this set, I don't remember her being too insane either, but definitely solid. Warwick, I feel like Warwick is just always good, period. I think this was one of his worst sets that we've seen him in as far as what he could do, but with the Chem Tech, he was definitely always just getting better. I don't even remember his other trait, possibly Brawler or something like that. But he was good. I just think that he wasn't as good as he could be, and there for Kimtex and everything that he was surrounded by, there were just other better carries. Tarek, I'll give to B. He was definitely, again, just one of those trait bot splashable champs. Nothing too insane to say about him. Good healing, but outside of that, nothing too crazy. Gangplank, I think his traits just held him back from being anything too insane. But he definitely wasn't too bad. I think it was Mercenaries. That's what these guys were. The other traits, like Misfortune and Alawi. Talon, I don't remember Talon being that great this set. But that might just be me not remembering correctly, but who knows. Trundle is definitely good. I think he was a solid choice always, seems to be. And then I want to say this is either Evelyn or Akali. I forget. I might even be wrong with both of those, but I remember her being insane and just murdering everyone always. But she was definitely, if you weren't running Syndicates or Assassins, she was hard to get in your team. And honestly, she had so little health that it was hard, but man, she could just eat everybody. And I honestly don't even remember who this is at all. So that's my bad. I think it's like Academy's 5 cost, but I could be wrong. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think, where you guys would place your favorite and least favorite set 6 champs, who you guys use. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and check out all my other TFT tier lists and set videos as well. And we will see you in the next one.